Greatest common factor. So someone give me a number.
7.
7. Okay, cool. So 7. Someone give me another one.
11.
I don't want another prime number.
8.
8. Okay, cool. So 8. And for those of you who don't know what I mean by prime, okay, I gave you guys a lesson a few weeks ago on prime and composite numbers. A prime number, just a refresher, is a number where its only two factors are 1 in itself. So telling you right now, 7 is going to be a prime number because the only two numbers you can multiply to get 7 are 1 and 7. For 8, we have more numbers than 1 and 8. So it's going to be a composite number. So let's say I have 6 over 8 plus 1 over 8. Can anyone tell me how we add that?
So first, with your denominators, since they're the same, they would stay the same.
Exactly. Good. So my denominator stays at 8. And what do I do to my numerators?
You would add 6 plus 1.
Good, exactly. So really simple, right? When I have the same denominator, it's a piece of cake. Whenever you get the sum of a fraction, you always need to check if it's in its simplest terms. Is that the lowest possible way we can put it? So you're going to hear simplest terms, lowest terms. It all means the same thing. Is it in its smallest possible form? So the way that we check that is finding our greatest common factor. So what we do is we need to find all the factors of 7 and all the factors of 8. Who can give me the factors of 7?
You have 1
and
7, 14, 21, 28.
No, those are multiples. Those are multiples. Those aren't factors. Okay? Factors are numbers you multiply to get to that number. So 1 times 7. Who can give me the factors for 8?
1 times 8.
Awesome. 1 times 8. And what's my next one?
2 times 4.
Awesome. 2 times 4. Okay, cool. So 7 is prime because its only factors are 1 and 7. 8 is composite because it has 1 and 8, but it also has 2 and 4. So it has more factors than just 1 in itself. We've listed our multiplication tables for 7 and 8. Okay, now we can list out our factors. So for 7, we know it's prime. So we know our factors are 1 and 7. Here, for 8, I'm going to start putting them in order. I have 1. I have 2. I have 4, and I have 8. Now that I have my factors listed out, I'm going to find the factor that is the greatest common factor. Who can tell me what the greatest common factor of these two numbers is?
1.
1. Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and circle this. Good. So it's 1. So, and I'm getting a little bit ahead because today we only went over GCF, but I want you to realize why we're learning it, okay? So what happens is once you find your GCF, you're going to divide your numerator and your denominator by your GCF. So watch. So you're going to have 7 divided by 1, and you're going to have 8 divided by 1.
7 and 8 divided by 1 is 8.
So was it safe to say that the fraction was already in its lowest terms?
Yes.
Yes. So when your greatest common factor is 1, that means that your fraction was already in its lowest terms. I'm going to do one where 1 is not the greatest common factor so you guys can see how we do it differently. So I'm going to have 1/8 plus 1/8. So who can add that for me?
So the 1 plus 1 will be 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 8 plus 8 will be 8.
Exactly. Good. We don't add them. It just stays the same. So now I have my fraction, my sum, right? So I have 2/8. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my factors for 2 and 8. Who can tell me which one of these two numbers is a prime number and which one is a composite number?
2 is prime and 8 is composite.
Awesome. 2 is prime. I'm going to put a P. And 8 is composite. So now that I have all of my factors listed, I'm going to put them in order. Who can tell me what my greatest common factor is?
It's 1. No, 2.
2. Good. So 2 is my greatest common factor. So now this is going to work out a little differently, okay? Because it's not 1 anymore. So this fraction will change. So watch what we're going to do here. I'm going to divide my numerator by my GCF. I'm going to divide my denominator by my GCF. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 1/4 is 2/8 reduced in its simplest terms. So same thing like we did right now. So you have 24 and you have 30. If you think of this in a fraction, it would be like 24 over 30, okay? 24 would be your numerator, 30 would be your denominator. And you want to reduce 24 over 30. So for 24, you're going to list all of the multiplication tables that would equal 24. For 30, you're going to list all the times tables that'll equal 30. Then, once you have all of your factors right here in your multiplication tables, you're going to list them in order right under here. The reason I want you to list them in order is so you can get a better view of what your greatest common factor is when they're stacked on top of each other. Once you have them all listed out there, you're just going to go through and you're going to see, okay, which one is the greatest common factor. For 24 and 30, we realize that our greatest common factor is 6. If the greatest common factor of 24 and 30 is 6, can anyone tell me what that reduced fraction is going to be?
4 over 6.
Oh, you're close.
Is it 4 over 5?
Yes, it's 4 over 5. Good. Because 24 divided by 6 is 4. And then 30 divided by 6 is 5. So it would be 4 over 5. Awesome. Good job.